Yo, yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Typo 87. And sorry for the darkness in my living room, but wanted to create a little effect for my rant right now. Um, Let me start by saying this. There's a particular individual by the name of Ghost of Xbox, and this certain individual, as I stated earlier in my earlier video rant, made some very derogatory comments, all because of my point of view of Xbox. Now, going through this individual's YouTube page, I actually found out that he only has 10 subs, 10 subscribers. But you over here talking about why and why and why I should go have sex with a PS4. Ah, ladies and gentlemen, I don't understand. Where do these guys crawl out from? Where do they come out from? Explain that to me. It is very diminutive that a person who's 29 years old, mind you, 29 years old. I'm actually 35 years old. I got kids and a wife. And damn, it's really lame that you're 29 and you cannot take an actual opinion. It's pretty sad that you have not matured to actually abstain a legitimate debate with a person. It is abstain that you have to go through name calling in order to get your point across. Now, I'm going to do a little screen sharing for you guys. Just give me a little quick minute. And I'm going to go directly to his page. And we're going to look at his page per se. And I'm going to expose this individual for the lack of thereof. Let's see. Damn, you can't even find him. Wow, you can only see me talking about him. Wow, this is how irrelevant this certain individual is. But let me go back to Ryan's video and show you the actual comments as per se by this certain individual. Now, as you can see, this is my statement right here. I made a nice little comment in regards to Ryan's video. Right here. Bro, Sting. Classic song for a compromise ending of a whack ass console. And what do you know? Your boy Ghost of Xbox. PS4 is a whack ass console with some bitch ass fans. Suck a cock, Sony. Queef. Queef. Like what? Better go. Better yet, go blow Ryan, fucking queer. If you're telling another man to give fellatio to another man, what does that make you? And again, I like paying to stream all old games, and I like buying $50 remasters. I'm a Sony fan. So, I let it slide. I didn't really want to comment on anything, but something triggered me. Laughing out loud. Okay, tough guy, blowing these nuts. I'm trying to make fun of the situation just to blow on by the comments. Whack ass comeback. Next. Now, this is where it gets really weird. The only cum is on your back from Sony fucking your ass in this whole gen. Okay. Ghost of Xbox. Let me put it this way. If you're 29 years old, what sense does it make for you to talk about cum, male ejaculation, in a conversation where it's totally based on the reasons why Xbox and Microsoft suck. Why? What's the whole purpose of you making these statements knowing the fact that in reality it does suck? It doesn't have any exclusives that are worthwhile for anything. As you can see, we kept on going, we kept on talking to each other, and my last response was a little bit, a little bit out there, but I gotta defend myself a little bit because you got people's like these, and they're like a dime in a dozen, right? Sure. But my path to Ganon, you only got 12 views on that one. My thoughts on PS4 games. I admit Xbox needs better games. This title seems very interesting. The fact that you're admitting to the fault of Xbox and why is not catering to the gaming community falls very clear on this title alone in your video, right? And then you got another video here, a message for wild ponies and trash PS4 fans. Let me put it this way, goes to Xbox. By you emulating certain titles in your videos, you're bringing this upon yourself and you're bringing it to the narrative where people are not going to like you and they're clearly not going to like your videos. Over here, you're talking about all you stated in this video, a message for wild ponies, was just utter bullshit and really asinine logic that didn't even make no sense to talk about. Look at your like to dislike ratio. You have 2 likes and 20 dislikes. So apparently, to my analogy and how everything is being replicated towards your videos, it seems that you have no better common sense or denominator to talk about gaming, to even put any input about gaming, because it clearly states in your videos the lack of knowledge you have for gaming. If you're only based your knowledge on only one ecosystem and claim to be a multi-console owner, guess what? It shouldn't bother you that much that Xbox sucks. It shouldn't bother you that the opinions of other people talking about the negatives of Xbox shouldn't bother you. You know why? Because in the reality, it is the truth. It is the truth. Microsoft has been having a lackluster, or rather, a very disappointing 5 years of gaming with this iteration of their third gen console, the Xbox One. Mind you, you're stating that Sony copies off of Xbox, but in reality, Sony was out before Xbox back in 1994. That is an actual fact. Number 2, the first iteration of the Xbox first gen console, which was the OG Xbox, which was actually brought out in 2001, didn't quite make the impact that it should have. Why? Because once again, everybody wanted to talk about power and that the games look better on the Xbox. Yet, the PS2 outsold the Xbox 2-1 in that generation. Why so? Well, main reason that gamers game. They bought games. They actually bought games that they cared about to purchase and warrant their purchases with that console. That's why the PS2 dominated that second generation of its cycle. Now, here's where we go into the third generation, but the second generation of the Xbox. And this is where the golden years of the Xbox were actually great to be an Xbox fan or an Xbox owner. The legendary Xbox 360. The 360 had all of everything and features that were ahead of its time. I will give it that. It was a great console. But just like any other console, down its end of its cycle, it had lackluster of titles that did not captivate any more sales. The same can be said for the PS3 and Sony. But Sony did one smart move and they started doing the PSN Plus and offering free games. And therefore, you guessed it, Microsoft follows suit by offering free games on Xbox Live Gold. Wow. The irony of copying your enemy's tactics, right? Real funny. And then we go on to this generation. This generation alone has already shown exactly where Microsoft's standing is at and where Sony is actually pushing forward for. That is the very base difference between this gen and last gen. Sony, per se, focused on the main things that matter the most. And what's that? Delivering to the consumer. Delivering to the consumer by what? Providing games and content, providing special discounts on certain games, and providing a well balanced network. But you got guys like this Ghost of Xbox, a 10 subscriber count, 10 subscriber count, and you wonder why people don't like your content. Why? I'm going to tell you the reasons why. Number one, you lack informational knowledge. Copying and pasting on Wikipedia is not an ensourceful way of debating with a person, especially me, because I already know more than anything. I know more or less what business practices are and how they are conducted by these companies. So therefore, that part of your logic is, how should we put it, refutable. Number two, for you to call people names only because they're warranted to their opinions makes you that more of a douchebag. Number three, you stated in one of your videos that you don't like anime and you don't watch anime because it's old and you don't like stuff like that. Yes, you're warranted to your own likings and your own taste, but it doesn't mean that you have to tell other people that they cannot watch anime because they're too old or they're not mature enough. I watch anime. I'm older than you. So what? I watch anime. I watch all the animes, old school, new school, doesn't matter to me. It's entertainment. That is the reason why I watch anime. Same way as you watch Hulu and Netflix on your Xbox One X, if I presume. Excuse me. But here's another kicker. This guy goes into a rant about things in pertaining to sales, like God of War. If I can recall, God of War sold 3.1 million copies in 3 days. Right? So therefore, your whole debate about the Gears of War outselling anything, again, refutable. The simple fact that you're using the same tactics and logic as the rest of the Xbox on the YouTube community makes it that more of a shame to even have this kind of video put out on your behalf. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, look at the comments. Xboned, Sea of D's on the Metacritic on 67 on Metacritic, which is actually kind of true. Right now, Sea of D's is standing at a 68. And State of Decay is actually standing at a 68, regardless of the fact. Now, let me put this down. As you can see, I have Sea of D's installed on my computer. I played it a couple of times. Wasn't that great of an experience. I found it very niche. I found it very boring, and it lacked it substance, which is something that's important for a game to actually compel a person for a purchase. I have Game Pass. I'm using Game Pass on my PC. Why? Because if you want to talk about power, then PC is where it's at. And that is the reason why I have a PC. I have a RX 580 Power Color Red Devil GPU, 20 gigabytes of RAM, and a VESA dual monitor setup. So yeah, that's where my setup is at. And quite frankly, this whole conveying of, yet again, another rant talking about how great Forza 7 is comparable to Gran Turismo Sport. Right here in this little clip, he states that this is not Forza 7, that is GT Sport. If you actually need to see, this is GT Sport. GT Sport, GT Sport, GT Sport. Bro, if you cannot see so clearly why the utter brilliance of your idiocy is so apparent, I don't know what else I can say, man. You're stating that this clip that you're playing is an actual footage from GT Sport. Once again, let's go to the good old digital foundry comparison of GT Sport versus Forza. Because it's very funny, man. This dude is using so many different tactics that really make no sense. That really make no sense at all. Let me skip this ad real quick. I'm gonna bump on my quality. Let me put it at 1440p so that people can get a little bit of viewing. See, this is Forza 7 GT Sport, right? This was a Digital Foundry's comparison, right? Let me skip a little bit. The famous detail scenario. Now, this is a perfect example why Polyphony Digital will always be one step ahead of Turn 10. Attention to detail. Mind you, this is a 1080p rendered image versus a 4K rendered image. But the clip that you was playing, you just stated that it was GT Sport. Am I right or wrong? Ghost of Xbox. Am I right or wrong? So this is the funny part right here, right? Digital Foundry went into intricate details on how each car model was projected by each developer, right? And they came to the conclusion that the GT Sport version of the game actually looked at more counter to part with the real life car than that of Forza. Once again, this is where the bread of the pudding is at. See, if you are knowledgeable about racing games, you would understand that Gran Turismo Sport is actually in a companionship with FIA. That is the Federation International Association for Auto Sports, right? They have a contract deal with them through GT based Le Mans racing. And they have a racing program which caters to gamers that compete in tournaments for Gran Turismo. So in order for them to gain a contract with racing through a team, whether it be Nissan, whether it be Bentley, whether it be Ferrari, whether it be Ford, it's there. GT Sport caters to that side of racing, which is actually quite positive, which is something that is very impactful. So let's skip that part. And I'll stop sharing the screen. So yeah, once again, my whole debate with this fool is the simple fact that you're using every every trick in the book to justify your logic. And in reality, you're not justifying your logic. You're just justifying the idiocy and your ignorance towards open opinions and open views. That's all. That's all that can be said about you and your actual content creating, because you also stated in your videos that you don't care about subscriptions and you don't care about your viewers. So why make up content on YouTube if you don't want to share your experiences with people? Why become a YouTube content creator when you have a lack of drive and passion for gaming? Or are you just that typical dealer gamer, Colt Eastwood, crap gamer, logical person that only wants to bash on foreign made games for the impression of your ego? Let me put it this way, bro. Yakuza 6 has sold more copies than Sea of Thieves. Heck, the whole Yakuza series has sold more copies than most Xbox titles. Persona 5 and its series has sold more copies than most Xbox titles. As of right now, Gran Turismo Sport stands at 80.4 million copies sold over Forza's who knows what numbers they have, because you already know the whole situation with Microsoft. They don't show their numbers. They're not into the numbers game. They're in the obscurity game where they want to keep everything to themselves and not share it with the rest of the public. Why? Because they know they're lacking and they're slacking behind Sony. So, to Ghost of Xbox, since you want to pertain yourself as a gamer, let me hit you with this one. When I say the quote gamer by choice, not by trend, it's because of a reason. I'm a gamer by choice because it's something that I like. It's something that compels me to share with my audience. Even when I'm on the podcast with Ryan, the professional, or any podcaster, you can ask him. And shout out to Ryan, shout out to Lincoln Clay, shout out to all the YouTube casters that are actually doing a damn great job at supporting gaming at its core. Shout out to you guys. You guys are the reasons why I became a YouTube content creator. But you got guys like the Ghost of Xbox. You have these other certain individuals that just want to push the propaganda agenda all the time. Want to push the whole narrative of power, 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 power. Listen, man, you cannot have power without balance. And it's been proven time and time again. It doesn't change. You need balance. Without balance, you cannot have anything. So all this whole debacle mentality of Japanese games are not great because they're Japanese and they're Jap crap. Like, bro, do you know how ignorant you sound when you say facts like that? Do you know how ignorant and stupid you sound? It is a known fact that most exported American based materials are not greatly received worldwide. I don't know why. It's just the way it is. But it does tell you about the quality of the product. If you want to base it on that, if you want to base it on quality, then most home appliances are from Japan and China. Heck, these monitors that I'm using are made in China. Even Dell monitors are manufactured in China. But these American based logic, one corporate minded slave individuals do not see outside that red stripes and star spangled banner mentality. Yes, I'm an American as well. I was born here in the Bronx, right on 149th Street in Grand Concourse. I'm a Bronxite. Lived, breathe, die, Bronx all day, every day. I rep NYC all day. But that doesn't change the fact that my purchases have to be American only. Why? Because I'm an individual that likes to try out different things. I like to try out different products per se. I like to try out something that's new, innovative. Heck, I have an Xbox One, man. And still, the components within the Xbox One are manufactured in China. Go figure. But it's funny how these individuals just use that logic just to, push their agenda against other people and not knowing that they're looking very stupid and ignorant at the same time. And it's just ridiculous. Like Ghost of Xbox. Like who really seriously uses a title of a ghost on their channel? What type of person would actually go on a YouTube channel, create content, and make a live stream stating that they don't like making content and they don't care about subscriptions and they don't care about any of this? So if that's the case, then don't have a channel at all. Don't create videos bashing gamers. Because at the end of the day, PlayStation 4 gamers and all gamers are gamers. They're all in the same ecosystem. They play video games, whether it be PC, whether it be the Nintendo, whether it be the Xbox, whether it be the PS4, whether it be the old gen PS2, Xbox 360, PS3, whether it be any gen of a console, they are all gamers. And your analogy is to bash people because they have an open opinion about a certain situation. And that certain situation happens to be a straight up fact, a straight up truth. Microsoft is not doing anything other than just what? Going to Dave and Buster's and signing deals with Dave and Buster's to bring Halo to an arcade game? Are you serious, man? As a gamer, I find that very like appalling. As a gamer, I find that wow, I supported these guys, I bought their products, and now they're just shutting me out. Now I have to go to Dave and Buster's to play a Halo game. I have Halo 5. I played Halo 5. I finished it. I wanted to play it some more, but what happened? We're still waiting. Same thing with Scalebound. Scalebound was supposed to be a great released Xbox title that I was actually looking forward to, that I was actually hyped about. Like, damn, dragons, mythical beings. It's something that's different, something that attracts me. But as I was foretold, it got canceled. Crackdown 3. Wow. Crackdown 3, ladies and gentlemen. And shout out to the 3 viewers that are in my little live rant right now. Sorry it's a little late, but I had to do something because I got to get this off my chest. But Crackdown 3. What about Crackdown 3? Not much can be said. What can you say about Crackdown 3? It's still on hold, and we're still waiting, and it's been since what? The 360 generation that we've been waiting on the Crackdown 3? That tells you a whole lot about the development team. That tells you a whole lot where the state of Xbox is at. Look at State of Decay 2. Granted, the first one, it's not much of a great commercial success, but it was well received by the general public, and it warranted a second game or a sequel to that title. The game was in development for close to what? 5-7 years, whatever they stated. And to have a game in development for that amount of time and only to have it perform subpar to certain aspects of gaming, it sucks, man. It really sucks. But you see, Ghost of Xbox, everything that I have spoken about Xbox at its whole core is actual truth. It's actual fact. You don't need to look so far, but to see the actual details of why Microsoft is not doing what they need to do and why Microsoft is failing its consumer base, which is the hardcore Xbox fan base, such as a fan as yourself. And now you have to eat crow because everybody's bashing it. And guess what? I am part of that hardcore fan base. But guess what? Unlike you, I like stating the facts. I like stating the truth. And I like doing that. You know why? Because I rather tell the truth than to be a liar and a deceiver. And that's where my mind state is at. I tell the truth no matter what. Yes, Sony has some certain practices within its company that are a little bit biased to certain things. But guess what? They're actually doing more positives than negatives. And that's what the key component of success is. Doing more positives than negatives will warrant you to be a better company, will warrant you to be the better competitor, will warrant you to make successful moves in the industry. And unfortunately for Microsoft, they're not doing those moves. They're actually slacking behind those moves. So, yeah, this little rant, it's not something aggressively stated by me. It's just something that I have to calmly explain and let people know how I'm feeling about this certain individual who claims, quote unquote, to be a multi-console owner, but in reality, you're just another Xbox under the sheepskin, a wolf under the sheepskin. And quite frankly, my brother, you need a whole lot of prayer for your mind, bro, because you're lacking a lot of common sense, and most importantly, you're lacking a lot of decency towards people. A lot of decency. Yeah, that I made fun of a whack ass console. Yes, I made fun of a whack ass console because that's exactly what the One X is, a whack ass console. Now, did I at any moment stated anything towards a family member of yours? No, none whatsoever. I called you out exactly for what you are, a corporate slave minded individual. Now, that the choice of words that I stated in my in my comments when I typed it to you in Ryan's video, yeah, I did. Why? Because of the way you came at the whole situation, the way how you started and initiated your situation. See, this is why you gotta think before you type, and don't become a keyboard warrior when you don't need to. You gotta be concise, you gotta be honest, and you have to be decent with certain situations. And unfortunately for you, you didn't use none of those choices that I've stated. You wanted to talk about male ejaculation, and you wanted to state those actions towards my mother. I find that very disrespectful. That's number one. And number two, you come at my mother, bro, you're coming at me. And I don't appreciate that. So, with all due respect, I'm going to say it again. Keep my mother's name out your mouth. All right? And let's keep this about gaming. Don't try to go that route, bro, because it's not going to look pretty for you. Now, if you want to partake in an open debate with me, hey, feel free to contact me. I'm always on Twitter. I'm always on YouTube. You want to debate me in a live debate? Let me know. I'll hook you up. Hey, we might even invite you to the RGT podcast so you could get that ass flamed. Because we already know you're not about that gaming life. We already know that you're actually not going to even try to come to the live debate, knowing that exactly what you are, a fake ass gamer. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. I just had to point this out and had to make some statements towards this certain individual. And shout out to the three that are viewing this video right now. I know it's very late, but something had to be said. These Xbox dudes, they really lack any common courtesy and decency when it comes to their preferred console and their preferred games. But it is what it is. State of the case is an utter mess for certain reasons, and some people just can't take the flack. Microsoft itself, it's a hot mess. But anyways, man, it's your boy Type R87, aka Carlos Fernandez, gamer by choice, not by trend. And y'all have a blessed night. Hey, man, and as always, keep it gaming all the time. Peace.